Today we're going to be talking about multiplication and division. Okay, so if we were talking about how many bags of oranges with 5 oranges in each bag can be made with 35 oranges, my next question is how many could be made with 42 oranges? Okay, so you might think about how many groups of 5 are in 42. Okay, I know that I'm going to end up here with a remainder if I do this as division, because this is not a multiple of 5. Count 5s with me. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Go ahead and stop. Because I got to 40, it's 8 groups of 5, right? And then 9 groups of 5 would be 45. So I'm looking here, using my division, I've got 42 divided by 5. How many groups of 5 were in 42? There were 8 of them, right? So we had 8 with a remainder of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, right? A remainder of 2, you're right. Okay, so go ahead and write that down in your notebook if you haven't yet. And I want to point out the different vocabulary terms that we use when we talk about division, okay? The number that is at the end that's equal to this computation right here is called the quotient. So go ahead and label yours quotient. Okay? And in multiplication, we call the numbers factors, right? And the answer to a multiplication problem, or on this side, 42 was equal to multiplying those two factors. We called this the product, right? Well, instead of factors in division, these are called divisors. I'm sorry, I take that back. The number 42 is the dividend. So go ahead and label that dividend. And then this one here is called the divisor. What about this R2? What do we call that? Try and tell your friend. That's right, that's right. I'm hearing lots of it. This is what we call a remainder. So I'm going to erase here. Give yourself a second to make sure that you've got all of that written down. And if you've got room down below, you are certainly welcome to stay on this same page. I'm going to erase, and if you need to go to the next page, go for it. Thumbs up if you're ready to move on. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw a fact triangle. Okay? We use fact triangles to think about what we call fact family. So go ahead and draw a big triangle and label it fact family. The reason why we use fact triangles is to think about a fact family and how multiplication and division are related to one another. So I'm going to draw an asterisk in the center, which is an X, and then a vertical line and a horizontal line. And this stands for multiplication, right? And then our other symbol, the opposite of multiplication, is division, and I'm going to use this slash mark as my division, okay? So a fact family is used to generate multiplication and division together. So at the top of this fact triangle, go ahead and write 42. And two factors of 42 that can be multiplied together are 6 and 7. So I want you in your notebook to go ahead and write down all of the different number sentences using multiplication and division that can be generated using this fact family of the numbers 6, 7, and 42. I'm going to give you a second, and then we'll check your understanding. Okay, by now you should have given it a try. Let's check our work. So I have 6 times 7 is 42. Raise the roof if you got that. Okay, and then we have the turnaround fact. 7 times 6 equals 42. Now I'm going to use my fact family using 42 as my dividend. I'm going to choose one of my factors here of 42 as the divisor, so the other one will be my quotient. So I'll do 42 divided by 6, so there's my divisor. It's my quotient of 7. Or I can do a turnaround fact of that and do 42 divided by 7. It's a quotient of 6. So go ahead and make sure that you've got those there. Raise the roof if you've got all of those on your own. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and erase right here. And I just want to show you guys also how you can use a multiplication and division fact table for division as well as multiplication. Last time we talked about this, we talked about two factors. When we multiply them together, get a product, right? So you can do that exact same thing, but start with a number here and figure out what this being the dividend, and one of these is a divisor and the other is a quotient, okay? So I've got, when I look at this number here, 25 divided by 5 is a quotient of 5. Go ahead and write that down. You'll also notice that 25 is a square number, right? Because 5 and 5, when we multiply those together, 5 rows of 5 make a perfect square. Okay, so let's try one that's not a square number. About 28. So go ahead, using 28 as your dividend, fill in the rest of that number sentence. There's two ways that you can do this, right? When we're looking at 28, we could make 7 our divisor and 4 our quotient. Or we could make 4 our divisor and 7 our quotient. I want you in your notebook to choose one more number on here and write the fact family for it, and I'll come around and take a look. But for now, our video is over, so politely say goodbye.